Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Justin Triplett, the Client Success Manager here, and today I am joined by Reinhard and Samantha. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing well. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking. So I'm super excited to kind of jump in. You guys have such an incredible story with over the past 5 years, you've been able to scale your portfolio from 0 units to 48 units. And I'm so excited just to kind of dive in and learn how you guys were able to have this much success in 5 years. So just
the other day, it was 4 years.
Yeah.
Even better, even better.
Yeah.
Awesome. So 4 or 5 years ago, what kind of got you guys interested in investing in real estate?
Yeah, definitely. So right out of college, I started working at Boeing and was working hard, and we were saving up, to get married and to buy our first house. That's kind of the goal: be successful, get married, and buy a house, right? So we're saving up for a house, and I called my uncle, who's a loan officer, and kind of asked him for advice, like everyone in our family does. And he told us that, did you know you can get a loan on all the way up to a 4-unit instead of just a single family house? So that really was our first aha moment that kind of got the gears turning. And we started looking for duplexes, fourplexes, and, it really kind of got us thinking, after working the 1 year already and working really hard and saving up, I knew it just wasn't going to be sustainable to work, for a big corporation for my whole life and, do the 9 to 5 and, have time after to fit in everything else. So, so we started looking.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so glad, at such a kind of early start, you were able to identify, wow, this is a great source of basically financial freedom, and just the advantages that real estate has is so incredible. And I was just wondering, right at the start, what was your guys' first property? And I know you said that your uncle was the loan officer. Maybe how did you guys find the property, and what all happened with that property?
Yeah, so we were looking for 2 to 4 units in the Seattle area, and this was in the end of 2017. So things were heating up, but we thought, oh, the real estate market could crash any day now. And fast forward, here we are, 4 years later, and it still hasn't crashed. So we're definitely glad that we jumped in. But rather than buying a fourplex, we thought it's maybe overpriced. Let's jump in small with a duplex. And so we started looking for something that we could live in one side and rent out the other.
And we got a duplex in Renton, which is South Seattle, and it's kind of an up and coming area. When we moved in, it was pretty scary, and now it's really lovely, and it took it no time at all.
Yeah, and I was working at the Boeing in Renton, so that was, just under a mile away. It was a perfect location. Didn't have to commute too much. So after work, we'd get home and we'd start swinging the hammer. I pictured her with a hammer, and she looks like she's going to hit me. So we spent a lot of nights and weekends working on that property. And, we fixed up one side and then moved into it. And we already had tenants on the other side. But then when they were ready to move out, we also fixed up the other side and then rented it out for more. But definitely after that one, we realized, okay, this took us about a year and we were completely drained. We did all the work ourselves, and it was it looked good on paper, but we were completely tired, and that was not something that we could repeat and scale. So that's kind of when our second aha moment was that, we realized we would have to work smarter and not harder, and kind of think about how we could do our next deals more creatively.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I hear all the time people are kind of transitioning or getting into real estate by house hacking. And I know right at the start, there's probably a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going out there, just trying to get everything ready, finding tenants. But once you kind of get the basics down and just keep up the repetitions, it just gets easier and kind of just snowballs from there. So after you guys have this first duplex rented out, where do you guys move from here? How do you guys kind of transition into scaling up? And kind of what were some of your goals while you were thinking about scaling up your portfolio?
Yeah, so I think that's, like I said, we started to think more creatively, and that's when we started coming up with more goals, like how can I quit my job in 5 to 10 years through real estate. And that was, those were big goals at the time. Like we didn't know if we were going to be able to meet those, right? But it's better to have goals and not meet them than not have goals at all. So we started thinking about the stack method. Our first one was a duplex. So the next time we wanted to buy 4 units. Then the next time 8 units, and so forth. And then we also realized that we were super tired and didn't want to have to remodel all the units ourselves. So at that time, we did join the Addicted to ROI group, and I found a package of duplexes near Moses Lake in Ephrata. And those ones were built in 2005. So we thought, oh, great, they're more affordable than they are in Seattle. Things are kind of overpriced already. So we can get brand new units and we don't have to work on them. And then we also implemented another strategy that was, trying out property management. Since we don't want to be self-managing and self-rehabbing all the properties, we tried out property management. So we ended up buying 2 duplexes on the same street. And so we got our stack method with the 4 units and tried out property management. And
getting a little further away from us.
Yeah. So it's
only like 2 hours.
Yeah. We knew we were seeing a lot of these properties that had good cash flow, and, how do you invest where the deals are good and live where you want to, right? So we started purposely going out of state a little further. So we got those deals in Moses Lake, and then our next deals were in Spokane.
So kind of 2 hours away, 4 hours away. So we still knew that if we needed to drive there for an emergency that day, we could get there, no problem. So we're just trying, a little more distance each time.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I know joining the inner circle, there's so much to offer, especially those deals like the duplexes you got, and just like the resources to help you kind of out of state invest. And I was wondering if you could just kind of touch on kind of how you were able to get help from us to help kind of grow your portfolio.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we got the 2 duplexes from the deal list. So I think the deal list is great. I really love the group because people are taking action. They're not sitting on the sidelines waiting. So I see people buy properties, 3 or 4 properties a year, and it's like, hey, what am I doing? They're taking action and I'm not. So it really gives you that inspiration and the confidence, that person went out and did it, and they're not, going into foreclosure on those properties. They're actually working out. So we, got those properties through the deal list, as well as through networking with a member in the group. I was able to find our off-market 26 unit in Spokane. So that was a huge help. And really just, the education and also, kind of pushing us to take the leap into full-time investing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's something that we love, is just members taking action. So many people get lost in the analysis paralysis and just afraid to jump in. But the best thing to do is just jump in. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes, you'll learn from them and then grow from them on your real estate investing journey. Now, I was just wondering, was there any kind of like big aha moments? I know that you guys at this point have been scaling up your portfolio, buying more properties. Was there any aha moments to kind of take real estate investing full time for you?
Yeah, so it was definitely a few things that all came together at once, and that's how it happens. It's never going to be the right time and everything, planets align and hey, this is my perfect time to quit my job and go full time. So, it's something that we were always working towards and trying to build up our cash flow to be able to replace, our W-2 income. And then, COVID happened, and here I am taking on more projects because they're laying off people. And, working from home was fine for a little while, but it's really hard to build airplanes from your living room. And so I kind of was, over the working from home thing. So I was on mastermind one night through the Addicted ROI Inner Circle, and Jennifer was actually in that mastermind, and she said, what's your guys's goals? What are some of your goals? And I said, well, I really want to quit my full-time job and go into real estate investing full-time. And she said, well, how could you make that happen by the end of the year? And I thought, that's a pretty, drastic measure. There were like 4 months left in the year. And so that really kind of got the wheels turning. And, I thought, well, to be able to make that happen, I wanted to have $50,000 in the bank to live off of until, we could get our real estate cash flow kind of up, and, that we transition to where we can live on the cash flow. So when Jennifer said, how can you make that happen by the end of the year? I started thinking, well, I guess I could sell one of our properties, and so we had 2 duplexes on that street in Ephrata, and we decided to keep one and we decided to sell one. So that gave us a nice cushion to be able to live off of until we can fully get the cash flow situation figured out.
Yeah, we would take walks during COVID because it's really the only time we could get out of the house. And we would just talk about it. And we're like, oh, well, we don't want to sell them because they're good investments. And then at the end of the day, we were like, no, we can sell one and keep one. And it's a cool compromise. And it gives us the opportunity to see how they work out differently. And it gave us the opportunity for him to take the voluntary layoff package Boeing was offering and be free finally. And it's a really good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of selling that duplex, it sounds like you're kind of investing in yourself and in your business. So then you have more time to go out there, get those deals, and just keep scaling your portfolio. So that's awesome to hear that in our mastermind groups. And in case anyone doesn't know, our mastermind groups is where we have 3 to 5 members in a group. We kind of put them together, network, overcome challenges, and just really be accountable for each other. So I'm so glad that our mastermind groups were able to kind of help you and kind of push you towards really making your dreams come true. So that's awesome to hear that you were able to kind of quit your job and now just invest in real estate full time. And with that, I always love to know why. Like, what is your guys' why? Why are you guys like keep scaling your portfolio? What's kind of your why?
Our why is really, it's financial freedom, because we love to travel. We did quite a bit of traveling while we were working and remodeling and all that. And we just realized how much we love it and that working a 9 to 5 was getting in the way of that. At the end of the day, I worked at a yoga studio, so I didn't come home nearly as drained as he did. But after working a full day at Boeing and then remodeling a place and looking for real estate deals and all this stuff, he was just exhausted and stressed all the time. And so this is the freedom brings us freedom for health, more time to focus on things that are more important in our lives. And we want to have kids, more time for kids. And this year we've been able to really help our families out a lot more, which is, huge for us. We're here in Colorado now remodeling a house for my mom because it's time to downsize. So we're remodeling 2 houses, the one she's out of and into. And then Reinhard helped his mom refinance her house. And then we also have our big why at the end is just to make the world a better place, finding ways to give back. We'd love to find a way to tie in travel with giving back. So maybe we can travel to exotic places and help build houses or help with charities and having the time and space to do that.
Yeah, and that's one reason also that we really like the Addicted ROI group is I know Jennifer's a big travel enthusiast and Sarah was as well. And so just seeing people that have done it and kind of working towards that, having a life by design, we see a lot of people that are kind of stuck and it's like, that's kind of the way you design your life. So we just want to design a life where we can be free to travel when we want, either lock the house or rent it out on Airbnb and then we go travel. So I think there's a lot of also creative ways and that we've seen in the group.
Yeah, and that's what I love about real estate is because there's so many different things to do. No matter what strategy you like or don't like, you can always pick, and it always seems like there's a way out. You can always do something with a property, but it's all kind of going towards the goal of living a life by design and taking action and just really getting out there to live your dream life. And that's what we're all about. And that's what we love to help all of our members do. So I'm so happy that we've been able to help you on your guys' real estate investing journey. But I kind of just want to know, like, what do you guys, I know you guys said you're doing some renovations right now in Colorado Springs, but what else are you guys working on right now? And maybe what are some of your goals for the end of the year or coming up?
Yeah, so we've been working on a lot of stuff. Like she mentioned, we have 2 full rehabs going on. There's guys outside the window right now cutting stucco and putting it in windows. So we're managing those. And I'm actually kind of happy with that, because coming from a full-time job, you know, at the first couple of months we were traveling and that was great. But once we got home, it was like, well, what do I do now? So I was doing a ton of real estate education and just kind of trying to fill my time. But, you know, I remember in the 4-hour work week, he said, don't just try to fill your time, your 40 hours a week with busy work. So, you know, we're doing the rehabs and that gives us kind of like a day-to-day job, but we're also working on still growing our portfolio. So we wanted to buy our first out-of-state deal this year. And we're here in Colorado Springs, and I'm looking in Texas and New Mexico and Oklahoma and all these places. And then we thought, well, why don't we just buy here? Like, this is out of state, you know, because we're going to go back to Washington, but we can still come and visit Colorado, visit her family, and we have reasons to come back. And we just saw how much it's growing here in Colorado Springs. There's people moving here from Denver, and it's growing a lot. They're building a ton. And I feel like the real estate market is not oversold yet, like it is kind of in the Seattle area. It still has a lot of room to grow. So we actually found an off-market fourplex here that was built in 2005. So it was perfect. We got our out-of-state deal. We didn't have to do too much work on it because we're also doing 2 rehabs already. So that was kind of perfect. We got our first out-of-state deal. But I had also been keeping my eye on those other out-of-state deals, and those were more in like the 10, 12, 14 unit range. So we were putting offers simultaneously on properties in Texas and New Mexico and Oklahoma City, like I mentioned. And I had been keeping my eye on this one portfolio in Oklahoma City, and it was on the deal list. There was 101 units. And across 7 properties, and they were all like 10 to 20 unit buildings. And we put in offers on different buildings, but we couldn't buy the whole portfolio. So it kept going in and out. The seller wanted to sell to us, but then they'd get an offer for the whole portfolio.
So he backburnered us like 4 times.
Yeah, and then said, okay, we're going to sell it to you. And then we're under contract on other deals that we got out of contract for with our hopes up. And then he didn't sign the offer. So we went back and forth a lot of times, but finally one of the deals, one offer fell through for the whole portfolio. And since we had been giving so many offers, he thought, okay, these guys are serious. So it's good to put in offers. Even if you don't think you're going to be the first runner up, you might be the second or third. So the seller gave us first right of refusal. He said, okay, you can buy any of my 7 properties. Which ones do you want? And we thought, okay, he's serious right now. We backed out of another deal and then got this deal under contract. And so, originally we were thinking we might be able to buy a 10 unit and the 14 unit, but since we bought our fourplex out here, we got a 14 unit under contract, and we just closed on that 2 weeks ago. So now we're up to 48 units, like you had mentioned, and we're pretty happy with that. So last thing I'll say is we've acquired quite a few units this year, and we're just kind of trying to stabilize now. Our last 2 of our biggest properties are value add, and we want to get those value adds done and kind of, get those properties operating so we can have some more cash flow.
Yeah, definitely. And I love what you said about your Oklahoma City deal. Like, even if even if you don't know if you're going to get the property, to just put it in offer. Like, might as well. And like, you never know what the seller is looking for. And it just turns out that all of those offers just gained his trust and confidence that you guys would actually close with him. So congratulations on your new property. I hope everything goes well. Keep us updated on the progress. Was there anything else you guys wanted to end this off with?
I guess the last thing is just, we had a lot of properties that were in Washington State, and, with the pandemic and everything, we hadn't really been able to raise rent, but we were getting a lot of appreciation. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to go out of state and that we picked Oklahoma City was, we had appreciation, but we needed more cash flow. So that's kind of why we went to out of state in Oklahoma. And once we get that property kind of churning, it should be a good cash flow property to balance out our appreciation properties. And so we're kind of happy with that. We got a little balance now, and we're just looking to kind of optimize the portfolio and maybe next year refinance one and go after a bigger deal.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
I think one takeaway we talked about, when we were getting ready for the meeting was that our biggest real estate advice is just not to wait around for the Cinderella perfect deal. We jumped in and we didn't do it perfect. We didn't 2, 4, 6, 8, or 2, 4, 8. We did 2, 4, 26, 4, 14.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's definitely worth getting in sooner than later.
Yeah. And the last thing that she wanted to mention too was, live like no one else so that you can live like no one else later. And we picked that up a long time ago from Dave Ramsey. And we really believe it. We live pretty frugally and just try to focus on growing the portfolio and living, having more freedom. We don't need to have $1 million job and $1 million house and car, but how can you just live within your means and have more freedom? So we're happy to find the group and kind of be on our way there. Awesome.
I mean, I absolutely love that quote because it's so important right off the bat, just to get your finances in order and don't be splurging on anything that you can't afford, because in the long run, you'll be thanking yourself. And it looks like you guys are on your way there. And obviously you already have financial freedom, but just keep scaling that portfolio and just taking action. That's the biggest thing that we always try to stress, is take action. And when you take action, you'll be able to live your life by design. So I love your guys' story, your stack method, and everything that you've been able to accomplish in the past 5 years. Thank you so much for coming on this Facebook Live with us. I look forward to seeing you guys around the forums and on the Facebook page, and keep us updated on everything that you guys are working on, all right?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome. You guys have a wonderful day, all right?
All right, you too. Bye.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.